In today's video I will explain to you why Jesus is said as Egyptian God. There is a long-standing myth that suggests that Jesus Christ, the central figure of Christianity, is based on an Egyptian god. This theory has been around for centuries and has persisted despite a lack of evidence to support it. In this article, we will examine this myth and explore why it is not supported by historical or religious evidence. The idea that Jesus is based on an Egyptian god is rooted in a few different beliefs. One of the main arguments used to support this theory is the supposed similarities between Jesus and the Egyptian god Horus. Proponents of this theory claim that the story of Horus, an ancient Egyptian god of the sky, sun, and war, contains many elements that are similar to the story of Jesus. For example, it is claimed that both Horus and Jesus were born of a virgin, both had 12 disciples, both performed miracles, and both were crucified and resurrected. However, these claims are not supported by historical or religious evidence. In fact, most of these supposed similarities are either exaggerated or completely fabricated. To begin with, there is no evidence to suggest that the story of Horus predates the story of Jesus. In fact, the earliest known references to Horus date back to around 2400 BCE, whereas the earliest known references to Jesus date back to around 30 CE. This means that the story of Horus was not likely to have influenced the story of Jesus, as it simply did not exist in a written form at the time. Furthermore, many of the supposed similarities between Horus and Jesus are based on myths and legends that have been exaggerated or misinterpreted over time. For example, while it is true that Horus was often depicted as the son of a god and a goddess, there is no evidence to suggest that he was born of a virgin. Similarly, while Horus did have a group of followers, they were not referred to as disciples, nor did they number 12. Another argument used to support the idea that Jesus is based on an Egyptian god is the supposed influence of Egyptian religion on early Christianity. It is true that there were some similarities between early Christian beliefs and those of ancient Egypt. For example, both religions emphasized the importance of life after death and believed in a divine judgment. However, these similarities are not enough to suggest that Jesus was based on an Egyptian god. In fact, the historical evidence suggests that early Christians viewed Egyptian religion as a form of paganism to be rejected rather than embraced. For example, the early Christian writer Tertullian, who lived in the 2nd century CE, wrote that we hold nothing in common with the Egyptians, except their hate of idols. This suggests that early Christians saw themselves as distinct from Egyptian religious traditions rather than influenced by them. In conclusion, the idea that Jesus is based on an Egyptian god is a myth that is not supported by historical or religious evidence. While there may be some superficial similarities between the story of Horus and the story of Jesus, these similarities are either exaggerated or completely fabricated. Furthermore, the historical evidence suggests that early Christians rejected Egyptian religious traditions rather than embracing them. Ultimately, the story of Jesus is a unique and complex one that cannot be reduced to a simple retelling of an ancient Egyptian myth. Jesus' miracles on earth. According to the Christian Bible, Jesus Christ performed many miracles during his time on earth. These miracles were not only a demonstration of his power but also served as signs of his divinity and as a means of demonstrating his compassion and love for humanity. Here are some examples of the miracles attributed to Jesus in the New Testament. Turning water into wine. In John 2:1-11, Jesus is said to have turned water into wine at a wedding in Cana, Galilee, when the hosts ran out of wine. Healing the sick. Jesus is described in the Bible as healing many people who were sick or suffering from various afflictions. Examples include healing a man with leprosy, Mark 1:40-45, healing a blind man, John 9:1-7, and healing a paralyzed man, Matthew 9:2-8. Feeding the 5,000, in Matthew 14:13-21, Mark 6:31-44, Luke 9:10-17. In John 6:1-14, Jesus feeds a large crowd of people with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Walking on water, in Matthew 14:22-33 and Mark 6:45-52, Jesus walks on water and calms a storm, demonstrating his power over the natural elements. Raising the dead, Jesus is said to have raised several people from the dead, including the daughter of Jairus, Mark 5:35-43, the son of the widow of Nain, Luke 7:11-17, and his friend Lazarus, John 11:144. Casting out demons. Jesus is described in the Bible as casting out demons from people who were possessed by evil spirits. Examples include casting out a demon from a man in the synagogue, Mark 1:21-28, and casting out a legion of demons from a man who lived among the tombs, Mark 5:120. These miracles are seen by Christians as evidence of Jesus' divine nature and his ability to bring healing, restoration, and salvation to humanity. They serve as a powerful reminder of the compassion and love that Jesus has for all people and continue to inspire and uplift believers around the world today.